from a digital transformation perspective, is the challenges absolutely is. The challenges you mentioned is spot on. Specifically from a regulator perspective, it's a cultural shift which goes across hand in hand with bank and as well as the internal compliance as well as from a regulator perspective. As you continuously demonstrate the security at which you are able to make sure customer transactions are very secure. That's how it has evolved. It has been a partnership and collaboration. We make sure that most of the places in banks, they are going and now demonstrating for example, I take one example that the wet signature is always one of the mandates which has been given by most of the central bank by onboard instance. And just an example of Dubai, which is very recently. Once the liveliness integrated and shown that it is now the AML is very advanced, to make sure we can now onboard the customer seamlessly without making sure there's a wet signature about a couple of years ago. They were able to collaborate with each bank's partner and overcome this red signature. So we were able to lead very clearly about 5-6 clicks. We were able to onboard the customers quickly. Obviously, our solution also can do it. So that's a collaboration, obviously, between the regulators, our internal compliance teams, to demonstrate our security is stronger across all the transactions we do. And the last point I want to bring is the changes what you frequently do. I do mention that's the extendability which comes across, gives the flexibility for the banks from Oracle solution perspective or any other solutions looking at to make sure there is an in-house development for those quick changes where agility comes in place. Those are development frameworks allow you to make those quick changes, whatever the regulators are doing, without depending on the product vendor system. Because very few changes will depend on the product store to make changes. Most of the changes currently, what we have noticed, 95% of the changes will be done using the extendability layer. So these are two challenges which we already overcome by building those extendability layer to level where you can go and write Java code itself and you can link it to our programs to meet what challenges you can face.
Great, thank you so much, Dean. So Vijay, over to you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Naman. Thanks, Dean. Thanks, team. It's been a pretty enlightening session. Thank you. Thanks for your presence today. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, since morning you have heard the product vendors, you have heard the system integrators. I think it's now time to hear from the industry leaders. We are fortunate enough to be joined today by some of the very senior folks from the banking industry in Ethiopia. And over the next 20 to 25 minutes, we will have a chance to listen to your views. My first guest today holds a master's degree in management and strategic planning. Over his long career, he has worked across industries, and in his previous roles, he has been the CTO and CEO of Ethio Telecom. In his current role, Mr. Amare Asefa heads the information technology function in Commercial Bank of Ethiopia. Please put your hands together for Mr. Amare Asefa. My next guest, again, is a veteran in the area of information technology, comes with over 25 years of experience, again holds a master's degree in computer science, management and statistics. So a lot of learning in there. He's an inspiring and motivational leader with great interpersonal skills and a passion to develop the vision for technology. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Shemeles Leges, the CIO of Dashan Bank. My next guest is a motivational leader who has been aggressively working on achieving the digital initiatives and take banking in Ethiopia to the next level. He holds rich experience in banking industry and comes with a very strong IT technology background. The CIO of NIB, Mr. Asefa Jeshani. Our gracious host for the day, CEO of IE, Mr. Merit be killed. And I'm your moderator for the day, Vijay, the Group CEO for JMR Infotech. So, Mr. Amare, let me begin with you. You have seen this industry grow across industries and not just banking, right? So, if I were to ask you, what are those three things that you believe the banks need to succeed over the next few years as the technology landscape changes?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me, Vijay. It's a pleasure to be here as well. In fact, the three things that the bank needs, in my view, is recently banks are growing toward digitalization, and a lot of data keep coming. And of course, having data is one thing, and making use of the data is other thing. So for the coming years, I think we all need to work on how we can make use of those data in a way it supports the business, in a way it generates new business streams, so that at least it can also cover the cost which we spending on retaining all those data. And in fact, the whole decision process in the banking sector, the new product which is supposed to come in, basically, as well as the market trend and all that, basically is based on the data and analytics itself. So I believe in the coming years, the banks should be able to think on the ways to make use of those big data we are generating every day while moving toward digitalization. And that is, I think, the critical one big thing that we need to think of all as a banks. The second biggest thing is, of course, customer needs a lot of differentiated treatment. In fact, we need to make sure that we give our customers a convenience in the banking side. The customer experience pretty much is critical at this point, so we need to be more customer focused in terms of our approach in providing whatever service we push it to them. So customer centricity and improving customer experience is a critical part of the banking business, which we need to consider in coming years in a way which we really pretty much give them a kind of personalized experience, of course using whatever data we are having. We need to make sure to push that to them so that the experience is getting better. And also we need to automate a little bit more to make sure that we are serving them in so many efficient ways. For that, we need to make sure the back end of the banking itself is well automated to give them an efficient experience. So building up on the experience is a critical part of the bank, which we need to all work on that side in the financial domain as well. The third critical part is, of course, as we move toward digitalization, definitely the cybersecurity is a critical challenge which are ahead of us today. One of the biggest challenges we all are facing in managing all those digital banking or digital transaction is fraud, as well as the security challenge. And it's keep growing in the coming years as well, so we need to make sure we are well prepared toward those challenges, and then we put the right technology as well as the right mindset, the right people in place, the right process in place to make sure that the security challenge is also well challenged. So I believe the banks has to majorly look into all those three critical challenges in my view going forward to succeed in the financial sector. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Amre. So, Mr. Aseta, I talked about data, he talked about customer experience, he talked about digitization. Now, I'm sure these are the common challenges or the common vision that all banks in the region have. So if I may ask you, how is your bank, right, planning or preparing to take advantage of these changing trends? And how do you see the journey that your bank might take over the next 2 to 3 years?
First, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to attend the panel. So, my bank works towards the digitalization. First, one of the mission critical systems that we have is the core banking system. So, our core banking system should be in a position where it can integrate with the third-party systems so that we can realize open banking, social media banking, internet banking, mobile banking, and agency banking. So we have done a good job in up-to-date the current core banking system. The second thing that we are working to realize the digital banking is just refreshing the existing competing infrastructure. So our competing infrastructure should be in a position to entertain such digital transactions or realize digital journeys. So we are making a great job in refreshing the existing competing infrastructure. And the third one that we are doing is building a tertiary data center. So towards that, we have done a lot to build a tertiary data center so that we have to be accessible, we have to be secured, and we have to be safe. These are all what we are doing. So now we are trying to acquire a holistic and integrated e-banking solution so that we can provide digital banking in an efficient and effective manner. So, nowadays technology has already disrupted the banking services. So our branches are normal, will be serving like we did so far because brick and mortar banking will no more be there. I think that it will be converted to like a conflict resolution centers. So, and our customers' behavior are already changed. They are demanding self-services anywhere, anytime, any channel services. So we have to satisfy those customers. And the channel is already changed. Like the bank branch channel will no more be there, and it will be replaced by agency banking, open banking, social media banking, internet banking, mobile banking. So these are the future demands or the future that the environment demands from the banks. So the bank is already doing different initiatives and projects to achieve or to counter these needs or to satisfy the need of the environment, the need of the customers, and to compete with other banks. And these are all that I want to say for your question. Thank you.
Very interesting thoughts there, and I think there is a common thread with what Mr. Amari said and what you said. I think what both of you are trying to do is say two things. One is customer experience is paramount. Secondly, there has to be a way to get customers onto digital channels. And to increase the reach of banks, you talked about agency banking and other channels. Now, let me get your thoughts on this, Mr. Shimlis, because what we have seen is, in the area of customer experience, at least in Europe and other places, people are embracing open banking and are getting into partnerships with either fintechs or with other telcos, primarily telcos. I mean, in Kenya, pay money and all that are a huge success. So how do you see these trends being relevant to Ethiopia, and do they have any impact on the customer experience that both Mr. Amare and Mr. Sepa talked earlier?
First of all, thank you very much for I and the JMR for organizing this panel discussion, for sharing our views to the audience. When I go back to the questions raised from the service, I have over 2 decades in the banking industries. So banks for the last 10 years, they are building their infrastructures, building their core banking systems, and the back office efforts, and including these days, for the last 5 years, we are mainly focused on the mobile banking and the digital platform. So from this experience, I came to learn that we are not really specializing on all areas. Banks are specializing on some of their areas which they can be really built by themselves, take as a competitive advantage to take for their own using their internal chips. But on the today's position, the game is changed because we are not working on all areas. So partnership is very essential. When you come to the open banking, in my opinion, there are 3 parties that are highly benefited from the open banking concept. The first one is the business itself. That means the bank is running the business who are get benefited from the open banking. The first thing, we have, because of partnership with the financial service providers, we are producing specialized products for our customers that is even the time to the go-to-market for producing and availing the service to our customers. So this means, again, the bank staff is now takes their time on other competitive areas, which is create values for the banking service. So the business, as from today's discussion from the very beginning, every decision at the bank is now the center is the customer. So the business is get benefited from this side. The other thing is the financial service providers. Because of the business is challenging them, because of different demand is coming from the customers, from the management, from the industry, even from the competitors itself. So from that side, they are heavily investing more on innovations. They are coming with cost-efficient and cost-effective services to the banking service. So they are doing business with the bank. In the meantime, they are innovating their service, and that is still not contributing for the business, for themselves, and the like. The third one is the center of this open banking is the customer itself. The customer is, because of these innovations, because of this partnership, they can spend their money in a very convenient way. They can borrow their money in a very convenient way. Even they can invest to that extent. So, in my opinion, we are not building everything in one core system. Rather, the open banking is give an agility for the bank. So, from that perspective, the trend is already happening. And so, the next is this is the opportunities that is bring us for the Ethiopian banking industries, the open banking concept, the microservice concepts, and the consolidations of different legacy systems has to be taken into place.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz. Merit, you have been patiently hearing to what banks plan to do, future, and their challenges. I think a couple of things which I picked up throughout the day. One is about the data quality, data security, and how do you actually monetize this data? I think that's very important. The second one obviously is all around digitization. So, how come companies like yours and us, right, be partners in this journey, and what value add do you think we can add and help the bankers achieve the objectives that they have set for themselves internally, as well as there is Central Bank of Ethiopia's Vision 2025, right? So how do you feel the two, which is Central Bank of Ethiopia's Vision 2025, marries with what you have heard our banker friends say today?
Thank you, Vijay, for the question. Thank you all our panelists and our audiences for coming to this event. We are very happy. We are running a very good event since the morning. When I come to the specific question, the role of companies like us, technology companies like us, is critical in this journey, because it is a partnership between the banks and the technology providers to make that transition, the digital transformation happen. Without the right partners, even if the idea is there, even if the demand for the technology change is there, without the right partners who can execute, this transformation, things will not happen, especially when it comes to ICT. When it comes to ICT projects, it is very common. The rate of failure is high. Globally, most of IT projects fail from one aspect, whether it is delay or over budget or scope creep. So it takes a long time to see the results, the intended result. So having strong companies, local and international companies, who are involved in understanding the requirement of the industry, the banks, the customer requirements, then converting that, executing that to the intended result is very, very critical. So what I want to say is the banks should take serious attention when choosing the right partners, the right technology, so that their money, their time, their resources are spent well. And we, as IE and JMR, were preparing these events, and also we meet on other occasions with most of you to show that strong partnership with the right solution providers is critical to achieve your vision. Thank you.
Thanks, Merit. I'll finish it by having a general question, a common question to all the existing players. Now, we hear 20 new banks are supposed to come into the market, right? Are you excited? Are you afraid? How are you preparing yourselves? As I said, a common question before I, close it out or open it to the audience. Mr. Amare, starting with you.
Thank you again. We are so excited. We are so excited. We are happy that the new internet is coming, and then the others are yet to come as well. In my view, whenever there is newcomers, they come with a new kind of product and service where they try to take our customer. So it makes us restless to make sure that the one thing that the bank has to work on, ensuring customer experience, has get a focus on from our side as well as a bank. So if we treat our customer properly, if we come up with a good product and service, if we are dealing with the customer experience, I think we are pretty much okay to sustain our business share. And of course, we need to go beyond to innovate, to give better to our customers. This is one thing. So we are confident at that level. As a bank, we are well prepared for the coming competitions in so many ways. We have that base already, so it's not a problem. On the other hand, as a country of 100 plus million people, we didn't, even if we are big enough, we are not yet reaching to everyone in the banking sector. There are a lot yet to come to address to the banking society as an Ethiopian. So we play our share, and then there are big share of the market where the others can come into play. So there is also a room for that, which basically pretty much an interesting journey as well. On the other hand, the other interesting part is like we already start competing on traditional banking. We have a lot has been done already, and pretty much you don't expect a lot. So if you have to compete, you need to come up with a kind of new thing, new way of doing things. That can only happens with digitalization. We all embark on the digitalization, so I see again like when we go digitalization comes in a big picture of cultural shift in terms of the customer. So I think that is the area where we all embark on to support one another as a bank, as a financial sector operator, working together, educating our customer to shift the mindset into digital in terms of bringing that customer experience as well as that digitalization to happen as well. So there are areas where we can collaborate together in educating, making awareness. There are areas of competing where we will use that to make new product and service to better serve our customers. So pretty much it's a mix of everything. So we believe that the ecosystem is, keep growing, and then growth is happening. So this is an exciting time for all of us to look into the restless new thing.
So the big boys are not afraid of the kids on the block,
Exactly.
which is excellent. listen. So, Mr. Shimlis, your views on that, because he picked up on quite a few interesting ideas. Most important one was, what I picked up is, in his view, newcomers will help to extend the reach of the financial services, right, and maybe take some of the burden from the existing players. Your take on that?
Thank you. I've also shared the opinion shared by Mr. Amare. Just take the wallet now, how the wallet is getting closed. If there is no competition on the wallet, it may be there is no influences those changes which we have seen today. So, in my opinion, when the newcomers are coming, it gives a way that the bank has to come with very innovative way of thinking. That means the existing banks has to be look really how can they give service. If we are continuing in the same manner, it might be we are going to challenge it. The other thing is, the other important thing we have to see is, the bottom line is the benefit is the society at large, because the country has a very big vision, and we are going to really reach to the whole society. The financial inclusion is one of the agendas of the government. That means that cannot be attained even within the coming 20 banks as well. So still now the country requires more of banks. That means the traditional approach of the brick mortar banking approach may not be held for this. So this is still now benefit the society, and again benefit the banks to come with new way of execution, new way of giving services to the society. The other thing is, both of them have their own advantages and disadvantages. Say, if we take positive advantage of the both existing and the new ones is, the new ones is they are coming with new way of doing. They are going to change the culture. By the way, it might be the existing or the new one can still not bring disruption. Nobody knows now. So the new entrants are coming with new digital platform, with best solutions. Now we are working on the legacy system, but they are not be worried now about the legacy system. So they will start with best solutions, with best technologies, with best digital platform. So this may give an advantage for them. But when you come to the existing banks, now they are just mature in terms of process automations, in terms of people, and in terms of the technology. So now they have to be changed the way they are executing. Say, open banking may be one of the ways which we have already discussed before. The microservice concept we are thinking before. So for both of us again now is the cloud technology is brings an advantage for all of us. So in my opinion, from my bank's point of view, we are not see that as a threat, because if that's the case, the financial service provider can also be seen as a threat, but it's not. So now that is the way we execute in the market is previously changed. So that was my opinion.
That was interesting thoughts, but Mr. Sefa, just picking up from where Mr. Shimlis left. Just two things for me which I picked up. One is that these guys, new guys, are bringing in a lot of innovation. The second one which he said is, on day one, they will not be across the spectrum of banking. They would be niche players, right? Someone could be in payments, someone could be, let's say, in lending, someone others could be purely a deposit taking, someone could be microfinance, so on and so forth. Now, how much of your, IT change or IT innovation is because of what changes happening in the market, and how much of is it inorganic? You understand? I mean, had these new players not been pushing on your toes, would you still be doing what you are doing, or you would have thought differently?
Okay, thank you. First, I will agree with Mr. Awan and Mr. Shimlis. Just to say a few things on the previous questions. If we are seeing the current cake, we may see competition among the new banks and the existing banks. But compared to other even neighboring countries, Ethiopia has a lot of underbanked and unbanked societies. So it is untouched. Even the bank is in its infancy phase. So there are a lot to do on the banking sector. So it is nice to have those new banks But our investment is just by seeing the trend of the technology. The trend of the technology, as I already said, already disrupted the process, the traditional banking processes. So our investment is just by seeing the upcoming trends of digital banking operations. Digital transformation is at this point very critical, and we're in the digital and in the digital journey. So, and we have already visited the neighboring countries, and they have already achieved. There are a lot of success histories in Kenya, for example. So, having that in mind, so we have already developed a strategy to transform the bank from traditional banking to digital banking. So that is the driving force. Of course, now the competition will be on the technology. So that's why we invested a lot on the technology aspect and the other services.
So, as I said, if I have to paraphrase, just adopting the global best practices, looking all around, has been part of your strategy and how you get that to into this. But it's not every day that we get a panel as distinguished as this on the stage. And I'll be kind of, be unfair to the audience and everyone present here if I do not give you guys a chance to share your views and ask your question to this very distinguished panel. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your hands if anyone has a question for the panelists here today. May I come to you, sir?
My question is, thank you very much. My question is regarding the project management. He said that choosing the right partner is the way to handle projects very well. How about from the three aspects of project management you mentioned are very important, but are they handled only from the partner side or from the customer side also? What we see from experience is that customers are, demanding a lot. They think that they are benefiting a lot by requesting a lot of services in a single project, and that creates a very challenging scope creep. And from that point of view, how do you see it? Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. So, Daniel is from Bank of Abyssinia. So, Bank of Abyssinia is one of the banks who is leading the digital transformation. When it comes to your question regarding project management is both sides. It is a very common problem. Most clients, not only banks, most of our clients, they don't even have a proper project manager, proper project resource. They just handle projects as a functional job, and that creates a lot of delays because there is no focus, there is no attention as a project. Especially on banks, that is better. Most of the banks, they have a project management office, they have dedicated project manager, but still it is managed not as much as the partner side. So having proper project manager, project resources, defining the scope clearly as the beginning rather than, I want everything, which most of the features sometimes are useless. The bank may not use that feature for another 2-3 years, but sometimes it becomes a technical exercise. I need this, I need that, and that will delay the output. So clear project methodology from the beginning, defining the scope, proper project management plan with all the resources and also technical capabilities and project management capabilities. Having people with project management professional certifications and experience and following the globally acceptable project management standards from both sides, that will help a lot. It is common to prepare some specifications because of the global trend, because of the internal requirements, and the procurement process started with a specification, then companies respond to that specification, somebody wins with some process. But when it comes to the initiation of the project, the methodology is not clear. Like, you have signed the contract, so you have to bring everything. Or after the partner brings something, no, I need this more and this one. And that elongates the project lifetime. And also it affects the quality and the price of the project. So it should be both ways. And we have to work on the competency side of project management. That's very key in every institution, every bank, training the team, and developing best project management practices, implementing them, auditing the projects to follow standard procedures. This will help achieving your targets in time, not taking some projects that can be done by 6 months, it takes a year, 2 years. That's because of purely poor project management. So it should be from both sides. So I agree that is a very important point that we should raise, but it's good that it is raised from the bank side too.
Thanks, Marit. Sometimes I wear multiple hats. I think one obviously is being the moderator of this excellent team. But I think just on your question, sir, there are two parts to every project, and one is purely technological and functional, and my project, what you call as KPI is to ensure that I finish on time. I still have about a few minutes. If anyone has any questions, please speak. Otherwise, I'll request my panelists to say their last words and we close this session. Starting with you, Mr. Amare, if you want to say anything to the audience about the show today, what you expected, how was it? Good, bad, ugly, your feedback is something which will help us to improve.
Thank you very much. I would love to take this chance again to thank Merit, the organizer, JMC as well, for jointly producing this kind of workshop, which really is critically important for us as a financial sector operator. I hope this will not be the end, it's just the beginning, I believe. I think if we go like this, sharing ideas, and also get together, discuss about a challenge in the industry, and get to know one another, understand one another, I think we can move forward the Ethiopian digital sector in a very expedited way. So I'm feeling confident that your joint partnership will basically play a significant role. Just want to give you an applause and a good job, and thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. Mr. Sharma.
Thank you very much. From the very beginning of today, I hope we learn a lot from the presentation given for us from the Cisco, from the Oracle, even from the JMR and the history of IE as well, since their establishment. So really I'm glad to see their change of 13 years progress. And this is a very good chance for all of us, because if the local say type of service providers partnership for the bank, this is an arm for us, because in my previous opinion, partnership is very important. Banks we don't want to spend more of our time on everything. So there are areas where collaborate. If such kind of strong local partnership is happening is very good. On the other thing, the Platinian partners of Oracle, of kind of JMR, is also is added great values for our journeys of digitalization. So this is really one thing we appreciate. With all your costs, with all your everything, you are sharing us without any payment. This is something we encourage positively, and we take it as really we are get privileged. And again, from such type of panel discussions and sessions as well, is a kind of experience sharing, because there are areas banks we can collaborate together. There are competitions, of course. In the meantime, there are collaborations which we will learn among each other. So I appreciate such type of collaborations. Even the place where this event is take place is a part changing from the hotel to the local office is something I personally appreciate. So really it's a very positive feedback I have, and thank you for giving us all this privilege without any point. Thanks.
Thanks for your kind words, Mr. Shimas. The last word to you, Mr. Asifa.
Thank you a lot. Really, first also, I would like to appreciate for the organizers. Really, the event was very interesting, very informative. I personally learned a lot from this event. And your marriage is very good, IE and JMR. So I hope you will be successful in the future, because IE is very powerful and experienced in infrastructure areas. They have achieved a lot, and we're proud of IE in infrastructure aspect. So it is good to see that these guys are also planning to work on applications or application services. So the marriage with you is good, and you are a very experienced and worldwide experienced company. So I think your marriage will bring good things for Ethiopia, and I wish you all good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With that, I thank my panelists. Thanks for your time, gentlemen. It was a pleasure having you here, and hope to see you sometime soon. Thank you very much. Eddie?
ሰላም ናችኋል። መቼም እስካሁን በጣም ፕሮዳክቲቭ የሆነ ሰዓት እንዳሳለፋችሁ አስባለሁ። ከጠዋቱ ሴሽን ጀምሮ እስካሁን ኢንክሉዲንግ ዲስ ፓናል ዲስከሽን በጣም ፕሮዳክቲቭ የሆኑ ነገሮችን እንዳያችሁበት፣ ዲፍረንት ባንኪንግ ሶሉሽኖችን ከሲስኮ ጋር ከኦራክል ጋር JMRን ጨምሮ፣ ከዛም ባለፈ ቀደም እንደተባለው አይ ኔትወርክ ስለ ካምፓኒ 2008 ስታብሊሽ ከተደረገበት ጊዜ ጀምሮ እስካሁን ድረስ ምን አይነት ፓዝል ሲከተል እንደነበር ብዙ ነገሮችን እንዳወቃችሁ ብዙ ነገር እንደተገነዘባችሁ አስባለሁ። ከዚህ ቀጥሎ የሚኖረን አንድ የመጨረሻ አጠር ያለ ፕሬዘንቴሽን ይኖረናል ታቡ ላይ የሚቀረን እሱ ስለሆነ፣ ከዛ መቀጠል መጨረሻ የሚኖረን ፕሮግራማችን የሻይ ቡና ይሆናል። ከዛ ደግሞ ተመሰጋግነን እንለያያለን ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ የታቡን ፕሬዘንቴሽን የሚያቀርብልን ኢሳያስን ወደዚህ ጋብዛለሁ።
መሆኑ የባንኩን ኢንዱስትሪ ከሚመጡ ቴክኖሎጂዎች ጋር ፕሮሞት ማድረግ ያሉበትን ስቴጅ ከከስተመር ጋር ከዲጂታል ሶሉሽኖች ጋር ፕሮሞት ማድረግ ከረንትሊ ዲማንድ የሚያደርገው ነው ያለው ሁኔታ ዲማንድ የሚያደርገው ነው። ያ ብቻ ሳይሆን ብዙ ጊዜ ከአይን ኔትወርክ ጋር ስንሰራ ደስ የሚለን ከስተመሮቹን ለፕሮፊት ሳይሆን ፕሮፊት ብቻ አስቦ ሳይሆን ሶሉሽኑ ቤስት ፊት ነው ወይ ቴክኖሎጂው ሶሉሽን ያመጣላቸዋል ወይ ብለው ከዛ አንፃር ፔኑን ፊል አድርገው ከስተመርን ስለሚመጡ በጣም ደስ ብሎ አብረናቸው እንሰራለን እና ለዚህ በጣም እናመሰግናለን አይ ኔትወርክ። ከዛ በመቀጠል ታዳሚዎች እንኳን ደህና መጣችሁ። ኢሳያስ እባላለሁ። ዛሬ ይዤላችሁ የመጣሁት ታብሉ ሶሉሽን ነው። ታብሉ ብዙ ጊዜ ከቢዝነስ ኢንተለጀንስ ጋር ተያይዞ ያሉብንን ችግሮች ወይም ቻሌንጆች በጣም በቀላሉ ሊፈታልን የሚችል ሶሉሽን ነው። እሱን ፕሬዘንት አደርጋለሁ። ታብሉ ስንል it helps people understand their data ስንል purposely ነው people የምትለዋን የከተት ነው። ምክንያቱም ብዙ ቴክኖሎጂ ሶሉሽኖች ሲመጡ ሀገራችን ላይ ወይም ደግሞ ሌላ ቦታም ሲኖሩ እነኛ ቴክኖሎጂካል ሶሉሽኖች የሚታወት ለቴክኒካል ሰው ብቻ ነው እና ሰውን ፒፕሉን ኢንክሉድ አያደርግም። ሞስትሊ ፎከስ የሚያደርገው እነኛ ቴክኒካል ሰዎች ይሰሩበታል። እነኛ ቴክኒካል ሰዎች ብቻ የሰሩልንን ዩቲላይዝ እናደርጋለን። ኢት ማይት ቢ ሪፖርት ኦር ሳምቲንግ። ታብሉ ግን ስንል ነን ቴክኒካል ዩዘርስ ቴክኒካል ያልሆኑ ሰዎች በጣም በቀላሉ ከዳታቸው ላይ ኢንሳይት እንዲያወጡ ያግዛቸዋል። በጣም በቀላሉ ዊዝን ላይክ ሚኒትስ ሊሆን ይችላል እና ብዙ ራሳቸውን ችለው ዲግ አድርገው ሶሉሽኑን እስከ ማጥናት የሚሄዱበት ሁኔታ አይጋብዝም። በጣም በቀላሉ ኢንተራክት በማድረግ መጠቀም ይችላሉ። ሶ when we say like every company needs to be data driven ወይንም ደግሞ ዳታ ውስጥ መግባት ይችላል። ሁሉም ይፈልጋል ብቻ ሳይሆን አብዛኛው ድርጅት ምንድነው የሚያስበው በዳታ ተመስርቶ ዲሲዥኖችን እንደሚወስድ ያስባል። ያ ማለት እንደ ቢዝነስ ሲጠኑ ዳታን ተንተርሰን ነው ቢዝነሶችን የምናጠናው። ውስጥ ያሉ ባለሙያዎቻችን ብዙ ነገር የሚወስኑት ዳታን ተንተርሰው እንደሆነ ፊል እናደርጋለን። ግን ሪያሊቲው ስንመጣ እነኛ 98% ዳታ ድሪቭን ነን ብለው የሚያስቡት ውስጥ 32ቱ ብቻ ናቸው በትክክል ዳታ ድሪቭን ሆነው ስራቸውን ፕሮሞት እያደረጉ ስራቸውን ኢፌክቲቭ እያደረጉ ዳታ ካልቸርን በትክክል ኢምፕሊመንት አድርገው ኢንሳይቶችን ያዩ እነኛ ናቸው። ሶ ምንድነው እንደዛ እንዳያደርጉ ቻሌንጅ የሆነባቸው? የመጀመሪያው ቅድም እንዳለው some pupils only for some pupils በጣም ብዙ ሶሉሽኖች ሲወጡ ቴክኒካል ዩዘሮቹ ብቻ ተጠቅሟቸው እነኛን ኢንሳይቶች ለማናጀሮቻቸው በመላክ ሪፖርትን ማናጀሩ የግድ ወይንም ደግሞ ከላይ ያሉ ኤክስኪዩቲቭ ቲሞች ሪፖርትን የሚጠብቁት ከነኛ ሰዎች ብቻ ይሆናል። they have to be dependent ሶሉሽኖቹ ብዙ ጊዜ ምንድን ቴክኒካል ሰዎች ላይ ዲፔንድ ሆነው ስለሚሰሩ ኤክስኪዩቲቭ ቲሙ እነኛ ላይ ዲፔንድ በማድረጉ አንድ ትልቅ ቻሌንጅ ይሆንባቸዋል። ሁለተኛ it is about data silos ስንል በጣም የተለያየ ዳታ አለን። ግማሹ ዳታ በኤክሴል ይልክልናል፣ ግማሹ ዳታችን ያለው it might be in Oracle፣ ግማሹ ዳታችን ያለው ሌላ SQL። የተለያዩ ፕሮዳክቶች አሉን እና እነኛ ፕሮዳክቶች ላይ ያሉንን ዳታዎች ዳታ ሲሎስ አለብን። ሲንግል ትሩዝ ማውጣት አንችልም፣ ኢንጀክት ማድረግ አንችልም፣ ኢንቲግሬት ማድረግ እንቸገራለን። ሶ ይሄኛው አንድ ትልቅ ቻሌንጅ ሆነ። ያ ቻሌንጅ ምን አደረጋቸው? ኤክስኪዩቲቭ ቲሙ ወይንም ደግሞ ዳታ አናሊቲክስ ቲሙ ረጅም ሰዓታቸውን ምን ላይ ዌስት ያደርጋሉ? የተለያዩ ዳታ ሶርሶችን እያመጡ ራሳቸው ማኑዋሊ ሎቢ እያደረጉ እያስተካከሉ ኮምባይን እያደረጉ which is like we'll have like delays of in report። ብዙ ጊዜ ሪፖርት ስንጠየቅ በ30 መግባት ያለበት 5 ቀን 10 ቀን አንዳንዴ ደግሞ ረጅም ጊዜ የሚወስድብን ሪፖርቶች አሉ። let's say like ATM reconciliation on a daily basis ምን ይመጣልናል? ሪፖርት ይመጣልናል። ከየትኛው ወደ የትኛው ባንክ ትራንዛክሽን ተካሄደ፣ ምን ያህል ነበረ፣ ቻሌንጆች ነበሩበት ወይ፣ ያ ATM reconcile ስናደርግ ፌል ያደረጉትን on a daily basis ትሬስ አድርገን ኢቭን ከስተመሩ ከመጠየቁ በፊት ከስተመር ሳቲስፋክሽን ለመጨመር ቀድመን ሁላ ፕሮሞት ማድረግ ሊጠበቅብን ይችላል። በት ምን አለ ዳታ ሲሎስ ስላለ እነኛን ነገሮች እንዴት ኢንጀክት እናርጋቸው። ሁለተኛው ቻሌንጅ ምንድን ነበር? some data was available። ሶስተኛው when we need some help ወይንም ደግሞ ሰፖርት ስንፈልግ ስንል ለምሳሌ ሶሉሽኖቹ ላይ እየሰራን የሆነ ነገር ሲያስቸግረን it might be really difficult ያንን ትሬስ አድርጎ ጉግል ላይ ሰርች አድርጎ እንዴት መጣ እንዴት ሄደ ከዚህ ምን ሆነ የሚለው ከምንፈልገው ዳታ ከምንፈልገው ሪፖርት በላይ ስፔንድ የምናደርገው ጊዜያችንን ምን ላይ ሊሆን ነው? ሶሉሽኑን ማጥናት ይሆናል። እና እነኚህ ሶስት ችግሮች ነው አክቹአሊ ታብሉ ሶልቭ የሚያደርገው። እነኚህ ሶስት ችግሮች እዚህ ጋር ስንመጣ እንዴት እንሁን? አንደኛ it has to be everyone has to be what capable ያንን ቱል ያንን ሶሉሽን ለመጠቀም ካፔብል መሆን አለበት። ሰዎች ላይ ሳይሆን ዲፔንድ መሆን ያለብን በራሳችን ሶሉሽኑን ተጠቅመን ወይንም ደግሞ ቴክኒካል ሰዎችን ሳንፈልግ ራሳችን ዴቨሎፕ የምናደርጋቸው ኢንሳይቶች ከሱ በተሻለ እኔ ስለ KPI ላቅ እችላለሁ። ኪ ፐርፎርማንስ ኢንዲኬተር ምንድነው? ከዛ አንፃር ማርኬቲንግ ምን ላይ ፎከስ ላድርግ? ኢንሳይቶች ምንድናቸው? የትኛው ቦታ ላይ ነው ከስተመር ማገኘው? የትኛው ፕሮዳክት ነው ሞር ፎከስ ሆኜ መስራት ያለብኝ? የተለያዩ ኤጆች በየትኛው ኤጅ ግሩፕ ላይ የትኛው ኤዱኬሽን ስታተስ ላይ ያለ እነኚህ ነገሮች በሙላ ገቨርን ለማድረግ ማን ላይ ዲፔንድ መሆን የለብንም? ቴክኒካል ሰው ላይ ዲፔንድ መሆን የለብንም። ዛት ኢዝ ዘ ኮንሰፕት። ሁለተኛው አን ኢንቲግሬትድ ፕላትፎርም ኢንቲግሬትድ ነው ከተለያዩ ዳታ ሶርሶች ብለናል። ከተለያዩ ዳታ ሶርሶች የመጡትን ኢንጀክት አድርጎ አሁን ብቻ አይደለም ኢን ዘ ፊውቸር ሌላ ዳታ ሶርስ ልንጨምር እንችላለን። ወደፊት ሌሎች ዳታ ሶርሶች we might go for ክላውድም ቢሆን ኦን-ፕሪም ቢሆን የተለያዩ ዳታ ሶርሶችን በጨመርን ቁጥር it is easy to scale up። እንደ አዲስ ኢምፕሊሜንቴሽን ኖሮን ኢምፕሊሜንቴሽን ኮስት ፊድ አድርገን ምናምን አይደለም። በጣም በቀላሉ ምን እያደረግን እንሄዳለን? ኢንቲግሬት እያደረግናቸው ፑል እያደረግናቸው ዳታዎቹን እየጨመርን እንሄዳለን። ታብሉ ከ100 በላይ ዳታ ሶርሶች ጋር ምን ይሆናል? ኢንቲግሬት ይሆናል። ከተለያዩ ዳታ ሶርሶች እያመጣ እነኛ ኢንቲግሬት እያደረገ በአንድ በኩል ይገልጽልናል እና አንድ ያንን አድቫንቴጅ ይሰጠናል። ሶስተኛው ችግራችን ቅድም ምንድን ያለው ሰፖርት በምንፈልግበት ጊዜ ሰፖርት ስንፈልግ አሁን አብዛኛው ምንድነው ወይ ራሱ ቬንደሩ ጋር ሶሉሽን አቅራቢው ጋር ሰፖርት እንፈልጋለን። ያለበለዚያ ደግሞ ቅድም ያለው በጣም ረጅም ሰዓት ምን ላይ እናጠፋለን? ስለ ሶሉሽኑ በማጥናት ወይንም እንዴት አድርጌ ሶልቭ ላድርገው በማለት ረጅም ሰዓታችን እናጠፋለን። ሶ ታብሉ ላይ ስንመጣ ግን ትረስትድ ሊደር ነው አናሊቲክስ ስንል it has a community አለው። ያ ኮሚኒቲ ለምሳሌ አንድ ኦርጋናይዜሽን ታብሉን ሲቀላቀል ታብሉ ኮሚኒቲን አብሮ ይቀላቀላል። ሶ ኮሚኒቲዎቹ ምንድነው ሰፖርት የሚያደርጉት? ለምሳሌ እኔ በታብሉ ተጠቅሜ የሆነ ቻሌንጅ ሲኖረኝ ለታብሉም ሪፖርት ባደርግ ኮሚኒቲውም ላይ ፖስት ባደርግ ኮሚኒቲዎቹ እንደዚህ አይነት ችግር ኖሯቸው ከዚህ በፊት ሶልቭ ያደረጉ እዛ ላይ ፖስት ያደርጋሉ። እንደዚህ አጋጥሞኝ እንደዚህ ሶልቭ አድርጌዋለሁ፣ እንደዚህ አጋጥሞኝ እንደዚህ ሶልቭ አድርጌዋለሁ። ሶ አንዱ ከአንዱ ከስተመር ምን ያደርጋል ማለት ነው? እነኛን ነገሮች ካፕቸር እያደረገ እየተማረ እንዲሄድ ያግዘዋል። ሶ ስፔሲፊክ ባንኪንግ ኢንዱስትሪ ላይ ስንመጣ ባንኪንግ ኢንዱስትሪው ምን ላይ ነው የተሰማራው? ብዙ አይነት የባንኪንግ ኢንዱስትሪ አሉ። ስለዚህ ከዛ ላይ ሪቴል ሊሆን ይችላል፣ ኢት ማይት ቢ አሴት ማኔጅመንት ኢንቨስትመንት ሊሆን ይችላል። ከነኛ ውስጥ ሞር ስፔሲፊካሊ ላሁን አንደኛውን ኤሪያ ወስደን ሶሉሽኖችን እንያቸው። ለምሳሌ ስለ ድራይቭ ግሮዝ ማወቅ ልፈልግ ይችላል። ድራይቭ ግሮዝን ማወቅ ስፈልግ what I need ስለ ከስተመሬን አይደንቲፋይ ማድረግ ይጠበቅብኛል። ጂኦግራፊካል ሎኬሽን አይደንቲፋይ ማድረግ ይጠበቅብኛል። የተለያዩ ኢንሳይቶችን ቢውልድ ማድረግ እፈልጋለሁ። ሶ እነኛን ኢንሳይቶች ቢውልድ ለማድረግ ቴክኒካል ካፓቢሊቲ ሳልጠየቅ ወይንም ደግሞ ሳያስፈልገኝ በጣም በቀላሉ እነኚህን ኢንሳይቶች ቢልድ ማድረግ እንችላለን። ኢቨን when we come to ፍራውድ ላይ ሊሆን ይችላል ወይንም ደግሞ ኢንተርናልም ኮምፕላያንሶች KYCዎች ካሉን ከዛ ጋር ኮምፕላይ የምናደርጋቸው ነገሮች ካሉ ከዛ ጋር ኮምፕላይ የሆኑት ምን ያህሎቹ ዳታዎች ናቸው? ምን ያህሉ ከስተመሮች? አንዳንዴ ከስተመሮች ብዙ ባንኮች ላይ እንደተጀመረ አስባለሁ። በዚህ አመት ለምሳሌ ቢዝነስ ትሬድ ላይሰንስ ካላቸው ኤቭሪ ይር ትሬድ ላይሰንሳቸው በታደሰ ቁጥር አብሮ ከእንትናቸው ጋር ምን መሆን አለበት? ኢንጀክት መሆን አለበት። ስለዚህ እነኛ ኢንጀክት መሆን አለመሆናቸው ሎኖች ምን ያህሉ ኦን ታይም ተከፈሉ፣ ምን ያህሉ ኦን ታይም አልተከፈሉ፣ የትኛው ብራንቼ ፐርፎርማንስ ኢቫሉዌሽን ጥሩ ነው፣ የትኛው ብራንቼ ፐርፎርማንስ ወይንም ደግሞ HR ሪሶርስ በጣም በልኪ ሆኖብኛል የሚሉትን አናላይሲሶች ባንክ ኢንዱስትሪው ላያውቅ ይገባል። ከምንም በላይ የማርኬቲንግ በተለያዩ ፕሮዳክቶች አሉ። የተለያዩ ፕሮዳክቶች ሁሉም ባንኮች ኦልሞስት ብዙ ፕሮዳክቶች አሏቸው። እነኛን ግን ፕሮዳክቶችን የትኛው ቦታ ላይ ዩቲላይዝ ላድርገው፣ የትኛውን ማርኬት ሴግመንት ሊያዝ፣ የትኛውን ታርጌት ግሩፕ ፎከስ ላድርግ የሚሉትን ነገሮች they need to have some data driven reports ከዛ ተነስተው ነውና እነኚህ ነገሮች we expect to be solved እና ወደ እነኚህ ታዲያ መምጣት ለምን ተቸገሩ? ቅድም ያለው ነገር አለ። አንደኛ ሊሚትድ ኢምፓወርመንት፣ እሱን በታብሉ ሶሉሽን ሰፖርት ተደርገው እንዲፈቱ ሪኮመንድ እናደርጋለን። ኢምፓወርመንቶች ኮንሰርን መሆን የለባቸውም። ቴክኖሎጂውን አልችለውም ማለት ኮንሰርን መሆን የለበትም። it has to be flexible for everyone እና it matters ደግሞ ራሴ የሰራሁት ሪፖርት እና ሌላ ሰው ካመጣልኝ በኋላ again I have to give feedback on it። የሆነ ሰው ድጋሚ ያንን ቫልዩ አድ ያደርገዋል፣ ድጋሚ ነገር ይመጣል፣ I have to add value in it። እንደዛ ከሚሆን everybody has to be empowered የሚለውን አንድ ይሰጠናል። ሁለተኛው ኢኔቢሊቲ ቱ ሙቭ ኩዊክሊ ማለት ብዙ ጊዜ ዳታዎች አሉን፣ ግን ዳታዎቻችንን አናምናቸው። ለምን አናምናቸው? አንደኛ በጣም ዳታ ሲሎስ ስላለን ስናየው ይሄ ግን ትክክል ነው የሚል ኢቭን ፊል አናደርገውም። ይሄማ የተሳሳተ ዳታ ነው። አንዳንዴ ሪፖርት ስለደረሰብን ብቻ ሪፖርቶችን እንልካለን እንጂ ዳታው ትክክል ሆኖ ከዳታ የተነስቼ ሪፖርቶችን ቢውልድ አደርጋለሁ የሚል እነኛን ኮንሰርኖች ባንክ ኢንዱስትሪው ላይ አስ ኤ ቻሌንጅ አይተናቸዋል። ስለዚህ እነኛን ሶልቭ ለማድረግ ታብሉ በጣም በቀላሉ ሶልቭ ማድረግ እንችላለን ማለት ነው። ከዚህ በተጨማሪ ዳታ አት ሪስክ ብዙ ጊዜ ምንድነው ፊልም እናደርገው ዳታችን ምን ይሆን ይመስለናል? ኮራፕት የሚሆን ለምሳሌ አሁን ኮር ባንኪንግ ላይ ስራ ልሰራ እችላለሁ። ከኮር ባንኪንግ ጋር ስንሰራ የተለያዩ ትራንስፎርሜሽኖችን እንጠቀማለን። ሪፖርቶችን ቢውልድ ስናደርግ እነኛ ትራንስፎርሜሽኖች ኮር ባንኪንጉን ምን ያደርጉታል? ኢምፓክት ያመጡበታል። when it comes to ታብሉ ላይ ስንመጣ ግን እነኚህ ነገሮች አይኖሩትም። የራሱ ካች ሚሞሪ ያለው ምንም አይነት ትራንስፎርሜሽን ብሰራ ምኑን አይነካው? ሌላ ዳታ ሶርሱን አይነካው። ዳታ ሶርሳችን አይለወጥም። ሮ ዳታችን ዛሬ ነገ ሁሌ ይኖራል። የሚለውጠው ትራንስፎርሜሽን የሚሰራው በሙላ ካች ሰርቨሩ ላይ ነው፣ ካች ሚሞሪ ላይ ነው። ሶ ምንም አይነት ዳታችን አት ሪስክ አይሆንብንም። አንዱ ቻሌንጅ ታብሉ ሬዲዩስ ያደረገው እነኚህ ዳታችን ሪስክ ላይ ነው የምንላቸውን ነገሮች ሚኒማይዝ ማድረግ ነው እና ከዚህ በተጨማሪ we expect አሁን ጊዜው የዳታ ሳይንስ ነው፣ ጊዜው የዳታ አናሊቲክስ ነው። ፍራውዶች በጣም በዙ፣ ቴክኖሎጂው በጣም በዛ። which one is the right solution for us የሚለውን ፒክ አድርገው ዳታ ድሪቭን የሆነ ኤክስኪዩቲቭ ወይንም ኮሚትመንት ያለው ኤክስኪዩቲቮች አሁን ጊዜው it is the right time እና እነኚህ ነገሮች ለመፍታት ታብሉ በጣም ቤስት የሆነ ሶሉሽን ነው። ሞር ስፔሲፊካሊ ከእያንዳንዳችሁ ጋር በይበልጥ ሞር ኦፍ ላይክ ስፔሲፊክ ሪኳየርመንት አለው። አንደኛው ባንክ ሜቢ ኢንተረስታቸው ሞር ፎከስድ የሚሆነው ማርኬት ሴግመንቱ ላይ ሊሆን ይችላል። አንደኛው ኖ HR ሪሶርሴ በጣም አሳስቦኛል ሊል ይችላል። ሌላው it might be about credit risk ሊኩዊዲቲ ሊሆን ይችላል። ለእነኛ ሁላ ሪፖርቶች የተለያዩ አይነቶች ኢንሳይቶችን ማውጣት ስለምንችል ከዛ ተነስተን ሞር ስፔሲፊክ የሆኑ ዴሞዎችን ወይንም ደግሞ ፕሩፍ ኦፍ ኮንሰፕት በራሳችሁ ዳታው የተጠቅመን ሳምፕል ዳታዎች እነኛን አውትፑቶች አውጥተን ማሳየት እንችላለን እና ታብሉ በዚህ ገልጸዋለሁ። ሜቢ የምትጠይቁት የምታነሷቸው ጥያቄዎች ካሉ ወደ እናንተ ልምጣ። ሞር ስፔሲፊካሊ ግን ባንኮች ጋር ተገኝተን የራሳችሁን ሪኳየርመንት ይዘን ከዛ ጋር የተያያዘ ዴሞንስትሬሽኖችን ወይንም ደግሞ ፕሩፍ ኦፍ ኮንሰፕቶችን እየሰጠን ኢቨን አይ ፕሪፈር ላይ ሁላችሁም የምትችሉ ከሆነ ኢታስ ፍሪ ላይሰንስ ዳውንሎድ አድርጋችሁ ብታዩት ሶሉሽኑ በጣም ኢዚ ነው እና በይበልጥ ኢንተራክሽናችንን ጨምረን እንገናኛለን ብዬ አስባለሁ። በጣም አመሰግናለሁ። ጥያቄ ካለ ፎርዋርድ አድርጉ። ቴንክ ዩ።
ስለሚያስፈልገው እና ከላይቭ ዳታ ጋር ወጥቼም ዳታውን አይወስድም። ስለዚህ ዳታውን ለብቻ ሴፓሬትሊ ማዘጋጀት ይጠይቃል ወይስ ራሱ ዳታ ይይዛል? አንድ ሁለተኛ እንዴት ነው ላይሰንስ ነው? በነምበር ኦፍ ዩዘር ነው? ነምበር ኦፍ ዳታ ሶርስ ነው? ፍሪ ትራያልም አለው ብላል ለመቆጠር ይቻላል። ግን ከዛ በኋላ መቀጠል ቢፈልግ ሳምበዲ ላይሰንስ እንትን እንዴት ነው? ኤክስፔንሲቭ ነው ወይም ኮምፒውተር ፕሮዳክቶቹ ለማናቸው እሱ ነው ማለት ነው።
ኦኬ እሺ፣ ከመጨረሻው ጥያቄ ጀምር። በጣም ጥሩ ጥያቄ ነው የተነሳው። ኢትስ አባውት ዘ ፕሮዳክቶቹ ላይ ስንመጣ ሶስት አይነት ፕሮዳክቶች አሉ። ታብሉ ክሬተር ታብሉ ፕሪፕ የሚባል ፕሮዳክት አለ። ታብሉ ፕሪፕ የምንለው ፕሮዳክት ዳታችንን ፕሪፔር ለማድረግ የምንጠቀምበት ነው። ዳታችንን ፕሪፔር ለማለት ስንል ከተለያዩ ዳታ ሶርስ የመጡትን ኢንጀክት ለማድረግ ትራንስፎርም ለማድረግ ክሊንዚንጎችን መስራት ብንፈልግ፣ ዳታ ታይፖቻቸውን ማኔጅ ማድረግ ብንፈልግ፣ እስካን አድርገን ፊልተር አድርገን መውሰድ ብንፈልጋቸውን ብቻ መውሰድ ብንፈልግ የመሳሰሉትን የምንሰራበት ታብሉ ፕሪፕ የምንለዋለን። ፕሪፔር ነው የሚያደርግልን ዳታችንን። ለምኑ ነው ፕሪፔር የሚያደርግልን? ለአናሊቲክሱ። ዜን ዊ ሃቭ ታብሉ ዴስክቶፕ። ታብሉ ዴስክቶፕ ደግሞ ያኛው ከሰራ በኋላ ዊል ሃቭ ሰርቨር ቤዝድ ነው ታብሉ። ኢት ማይት ቢ ኦን ፕሪም ሊሆን ይችላል ወይ ክላውድ። ያው ብዙ ጊዜ ሪኮመንድ የሚደረገው ወይንም ደግሞ ባንኮቻችን ሪኮመንድ የሚያደርጉት ኦን ፕሪም ሶሉሽን ነው። ስለዚህ ሰርቨር ቤዝድ ነው፣ ሰርቨር ላይ ነው ኢምፕሊመንት የሚደረገው። እዛ ሰርቨር ላይ ከመግባቱ በፊት ወይንም ደግሞ ዳታው ክሊን ከተደረገ በኋላ ያንን ዳታ ማን ይወስዳል? ታብሉ ዴስክቶፕ ወስዶ የተለያዩ ኢንሳይቶችን ዴቨሎፕ ያደርጋል። ዴቨሎፕ ያደረገውን ደግሞ መልሶ ምን ማድረግ አለበት? ሼር ማድረግ አለበት። ለዛ ታብሉ ኦን ፕሪም የምንለው ወይም ታብሉ ፕሪም ሶሉሽን አለ እና እነዚህ ሶስት ሶሉሽኖች አሴ ፕሮዳክት ሲመጡ ግን ሶስት አይነት ፕሮዳክት አሉን። አንዳንዴ ሪፖርቱን ሼር ማድረግ የምንፈልገው አለ። ሁሉም ሰው ሪፖርቱን ገብቶ ምን እንዲያደርግ አንፈልግም፣ እንዲሰራበት አንፈልግም። ሪፖርቱን ብቻ ስቴክ ሆልደር ሆኖ እንዲያውቀው እንፈልጋለን። ግን ምን እንዲያደርግ ራይት ባክ እንዲያደርግ ወይንም ደግሞ ኩዌሪ ራሱ እንዲሰራ ላንፈልግ እንችላለን። ዜን ፎር ዞስ ላይክ ቪወር ላይሰንስ አለ። ያዩታል፣ ዳታውን ሪፖርቶችን ያገኛሉ፣ ግን ከዳታዎቹ ጋር ኢንተራክት ማድረግ አይችሉም። ሁለተኛው ኤክስፕሎረር የምንለው ለምሳሌ ኤክስኪዩቲቮች ሆነ ወይንም ደግሞ ብራንች ሌቭል ላይ ብራንች ዳይሬክተሮች ነው ስለ ብራንቻቸው ማወቅ የሚፈልጉ ትሬስ ማድረግ እንዲኖራቸው ፓወር ከሰጠናቸው ከዳታዎቹ ተነስተው ስለ ራሳቸው ብራንች ሊሆን ይችላል ወይንም ደግሞ ስለ አላቸው ሎኬሽን ሊያጠኑ ይችላሉ። እንደዚህ አይነት ሮሎችን ስንሰጣቸው ኤክስፕሎረር ላይሰንስ አለ። ኤክስፕሎረር ላይሰንስ ዳታውን ራሱ አድ አያደርግም፣ የተለያዩ ዳታ ሶርሶችን ጆይን አያደርግም። ጆይን የተደረጉት ዳታ ሶርሶች ላይ ግን ምን መጨመር ይችላል? ኢንሳይቶችን ዴቨሎፕ እያደረገ ማውጣት ይችላል። ሁለተኛው ፕሮዳክት። ሶስተኛው ክሬተር ላይሰንስ የምንለው ከተለያዩ ዳታ ሶርሶች፣ ምክንያቱም ዳታ ሶርሶቹን የሚያመጣው አንድ ሰው የራሱ የሆነ ምን ያስፈልገዋል? ከዳታ ሶርሶች ጋር ኮኔክት ለመሆን አድሚንነት ያስፈልገዋል። ስለዚህ እነኛ ክሬተር ላይሰንስ ያላቸው ከዳታ ሶርሶችን ኢንጀክት የሚያደርጉና ታብሉ ሰርቨር ላይ ያስቀምጣሉ። ታብሉ ሰርቨር ላይ ያስቀምጡትን ሶሉሽን ሌሎቹ ማየት ወይም ደግሞ እንዲጠቀሙ እናደርጋቸዋለን። ሶ ክሬተር ላይሰንስ አለን፣ ኤክስፕሎረር ላይሰንስ አለን፣ ቪወር ላይሰንስ አለን። እንዴት ነው ፕራይሱ ወይንም ደግሞ አጠቃቀሙ? ዩዘር ቤዝ ነው። ዩዘር ቤዝ ስንል ግን ክሬተር ላይሰንስ ወይንም ኤክስፕሎረር ላይሰንስ ያለው እና ቪወር ላይሰንስ ያለው እኩል አይሆንም። ስለዚህ ቪወር ላይሰንስ ላላቸው ዋጋ ይቀንሳል፣ ኤክስፕሎረር ላላቸው ትንሽ ከፍ ይላል። ዳታውን ኮኔክት የሚያደርጉት እና ደግሞ ሙሉ ፉል ፓወር ያላቸው ደግሞ ከፍ ያለ ዋጋ ይኖረዋል እና በዛ ስታንዳርድ ዋጋችን የተለያየ ነው የሚሆነው። ግን ኢት ኢዝ ቺፕ ኢን ሴንስ ካለው ሶሉሽኑ ቴክኖሎጂ ካመጣው አኳያ በጣም ቀላል ነው። ያ ብቻ ሳይሆን ብዙ ጊዜ አሁን በልኪ ኢንስታሌሽኖችን ካረግን በኋላ ሶሉሽኑ ፌል ሊያደርግ ይችላል እና ታብሉ ላይ በጣም በትንሽ ዩዘር ጀምሩት፣ ሪተርን ኦን ኢንቨስትመንቱን እዩት፣ ምንድነው አድ ያደረገልኝ፣ ምን ቫልዩ ያመጣልኝ የሚለውን እዩት። ዜን ዩ ካን ስኬል በምንፈልገው ደረጃ ስኬል ማድረግ እንችላለን ነው። ሁለተኛው ኢት ዊል ቢ ሰርቨር ቤዝድ ከሆነ ሰርቨር ያስፈልገዋል። የራሱ ካሽ ሚሞሪ አለው። እዛ ካሽ ሚሞሪ ላይ ነው የሚሰራው። ሰርቨር ስንጭን የሚፈልገው የተወሰነ ሩም ይኖረዋል። ስለዚህ ላይቭሊ የሚመጣውን ዳታ ከሆነ ላይቭሊ የሚመጣውን ዳታ ኮኔክት እናደርገዋለን። አይ ላይቭሊ የሚመጣ ይቅርና ኦን ኤ ዴይሊ ቤዝ ዊ ካን ስኬጁል ኢት። ለምሳሌ ሪፖርቱ በየቀኑ ከሆነ አፕዴት እንዲሆን እንደምንፈልገው ላይቭሊ ላይሆን ይችላል። ሶ ስኬጁል ካደረግነው በዛ ሰዓት ኤክስትራክት አድርጎ የዛች ሰዓቷን የዛች ቀንን ብቻ ስፔሲፊክ ሰርቨር ላይ ያደርግልናል። ከሰርቨሩ ላይ ዳታውን አውቶማቲካሊ ዳሽቦርዶቹ አግኝተው ምን ያደርጋሉ? ሪፍሬሽ የሆኑ ዳሽቦርዶችን ያሳየናል እና ኢት ኒድስ ሰርቨር ሪኳየርመንት ይኖራል። አመሰግናለሁ።
ፕሬዘንቴሽኑ በጣም ምናልባት የዳታ ጋር ያለው ነገር ስናይ ያው አንድ ቴክኖሎጂ ሁሉ ነገር አይቀርም፣ ስፔሻሊ ከእኛ ነባራዊ ሁኔታ ማለት ነው። ምክንያቱም ትልቁ ዳታ ስገባ ጀምሮ ለዳታ የሚያስፈልጉትን ኢንፑቶች ካፕቸር ማድረግ ስንችል፣ ያ ማለት ብዙ ጊዜ ከራሳችን አንጻር ነው የምናየው እንጂ ዳታውን ጀነሬት ያደረገውን አካል ሳይሆን የዳታውን ተጠቃሚ ያሉትን ኢንቲቲዎችን በሙሉ ማየት ይፈልጋል ቤዚካሊ ማለት ነው። እና ለእኔ ምናልባት በጥያቄ የማነሳው ምንድን ነው አንዱ ቅድም አንተ ያነሳቸው ሞር ዲስክሪፕቲቭ የሆኑ ሪፖርቶች ናቸው ቤዚካሊ ማለት ያ ማለት ትራንዛክሽናል ሲስተም በመጠቀም ኦርጋሰሮችስ የምናመጣቸው ነው። ግን ሰዋት እነዛዎቹ ምንም አይመጡም አሁን ካነሳቸው ተቀር ወራስ ግን ዳታ ሶርሶቻችን ነው ለምሳሌ ስፕሬድሺት ላይ ሊሆን ይችላል፣ ኤክሴል ላይ ነው ኦርጋሰሮች እነዛዎቹን ግን ኤክስትራክት አድርገን ልናመጣ የምንችልበት ካፓቢሊቲ ይሰጣል ወይ አንዱ ማለት ነው። ያ ማለት የኔ የኮር ባንኪንግ ዳታው ላይ ፕሮሰስ አድርጌ ማውጣት ብችል ከሁሉም ግን ኢንተርፕራይዝ የሆነ አንድ ሲንግል ሶርስ ኦፍ ትሩዝ ክሬት ስናደርግ እነዚዎቹ አፕሊኬሽኖች ወይም ደግሞ የዳታ ሶርሶች እርስ በርሳቸው ኮኔክትድ ለመሆን የሚያስቸግረዋል። ያ ማለት ፕራይመሪ ኦር የራሳቸው ሪሌትድ የሚሆኑባቸው ነገሮች ስለማይኖሩ ማለት ነው። እና ቱ ዛት ኤክስተንት ምናልባት ሰርታችሁ ያገኛችሁት ፌድባክ ከዚህ ከሲስተማቸው አንጻር ሼር የምታደርገን ነገር ካለ ውጭስ ኮድ። ሌላኛው ደግሞ ሁለተኛ ላይ ማንሳት የምፈልገው አንዴ ከሰራ በኋላ የምናቆመው አይደለም። እንደውም አንዴ ቢልድ ካደረግን በኋላ ቀጣይነቱ ነው የሚያሳስበው። ኮስቲ ዳታ ኮስት እያደረገን ነው። ለስቶሬጅ በየጊዜው የምናወጣቸው ኮስቶች በጣም ከፍተኛ ናቸው። ያን ማኔጅ ማድረግ ስንችል ስንጠቀምበት ነው ሆኖና የዳታ ገቨርናንስ እና የዳታ አርኪቴክቸር እንዲወድ ከማድረግ አንጻር ምናልባት ኤክስፒሪየንስ የምትነግረን ነገር ካለ ጥሩ ነው ማለት ነው። ታንኪ
በጣም አመሰግናለሁ። የተነሱ ጥያቄዎች ሲንግል ትሩዝ ስንል ነበረ። ሲንግል ትሩዝ ስንል ከተለያየ ቦታ የመጣውን ኢንጀክት አድርገን ከዛ በኋላ ሲንግል ትሩዝ ክሬት እናደርጋለን ነው። ያንን ሲንግል ትሩዝ ክሬት ስናደርግ ግን አንዳንድ ዳታዎቻችን ሪሌሽን የሌላቸው ሊሆኑ ይችላሉ፣ ሪሌሽን ያላቸው ሊሆኑ ይችላሉ። ሪሌሽን እንዲኖራቸው የምንፈልጋቸው ካሉ ዊ ካን ካልኩሌትድ የሆኑ ምኖችን ኮለመኖችን ክሬት ማድረግ እንችላለን። ኮኔክት ለማድረግ ለምሳሌ ልበልና ሁለት የተለያዩ ቴብሎች አሉ፣ ወይም ደግሞ የተለያዩ ዳታዎችን ፑል አደረጉ። ፑል ሳደርጋቸው እዚህኛው ጋር ያለውና እዚህኛው ጋር ያለው ሪሌት እንዲሆንልኝ ይፈልጋለሁ። ያንን ግን ሪሌት ለማድረግ ተመሳሳይ ኮለመን ላጣባቸው ይችላሉ። ሜቢ ሁለት ወይ ሶስት ኮለመኖች ላይ ያለኝ ዳታ ጋር ሊሆን ይችላል ይሄኛውን ሪሌት ማድረገው። ሶ ዊ ኒድ ቱ ሃቭ ላይክ ታብሉ ምንድነው በራሱ የተለያዩ ካልኩሌትድ የሆኑ ፊልዶችን ክሬት ማድረግ፣ የተለያዩ ኳሪዎችን ክሬት ማድረግ፣ ኢቨን በጣም ለምሳሌ አሁን አድቫንስድ ሆነን ሞዴሎችን ጀነሬት ያድርግልኝ ብል we can still write in Python። አሁን በጣም አድቫንስድ ሌቭል ለሆኑ ፓይተንን መጻፍ ይችላሉ። ከአር ፕሮግራሚንግ ጋር ኮኔክት መሆን ይችላል። ግን ኢንሳይቶችን ስናወጣ ኮኔክት ላድርጋቸው we can create በጣም በቀላሉ ኮኔክት የሚያደርጓቸው ኮሎመኖችን በመጨመር ኢንጀክት እናደርጋቸዋለን። እነኛን ከፈለግን ኤክስትራክት ስናደርጋቸው ዳታዎቹን እናውርድ ካለ ማውረድ እንችላለን። ኢቭን ቪዥዋላይዜሽኖችን ከሰራን በኋላ ቪዥዋላይዜሽንን ሼር ሳደርግ it can be in Excel ሊሆን ይችላል የፈለገው ዩዘሬ በኢሜጅ ፎርማት ብቻ ዳውንሎድ እንዲደረግላቸው ላደርግ ይችላል። በፒዲኤፍ ፎርማት ሊሆን ይችላል። በተለያዩ አይነት ፎርማቶች ምን እናደርጋለን ዳውንሎድ እናደርጋለን። ከዛ በተጨማሪ ኢቭን it has like ሞባይል አፕሊኬሽን አለው። ስለዚህ ቪዥዋላይዜሽኖችን በጣም በቀላሉ በሞባይል ዳውንሎድ እያደረግን መጠቀም ወይም ደግሞ አለርቶችን ጀነሬት ማድረግ እንችላለን እና ዳታዎች ኢንቲግሬሽን ስንሰራ በጣም በቀላሉ ይሆናል። ምክንያቱም ይሄ አዲስ የምንጨምራቸው ኮለመኖች እኔ በምፈልገው ሁኔታ ክሬት ላደርግ ሪሌሽኑን ክሬት ላደርግ በምፈልግበት ሁኔታ ነው እነኛን ኮለመኖች አድ ላደርጋቸው የምችለው እና አንዱ ያ ነው። ሁለተኛው ከገቨርናንስ አኳያ አክቹዋሊ ታብሉ ስንል ሜቢ ጋርትነር ላይም አይታችሁት ከሆነ the past 8 years ሊደር የነበረ ነው። ኮንቲኒየስሊ ሊደር የነበረ ነው ጋርትነር ላይ እና ያም ነው ገቨርናንስ ስትራቴጂያችንም ነው ትረስት ቢውልድ ያደረገብን። ሞር ዛን 90,000 ከ90,000 በላይ ከስተመሮች አክቹዋሊ አሉ። ባንክ ኢንዱስትሪ ስፔሲፊክ ኦልሞስት ወደ 5,000-6,000 በላይ ስፔሲፊክ ሪኳየርመንታቸውን ፒክ አድርገን የሰራንላቸው አሉ እና እነኛ ምንድነው it is about ትረስትን ቢውልድ በማድረጉ ነው እና ከዚህ በላይ ቴክኖሎጂው በጣም ከገቨርናንስም ሆነ ከዳታ ኳሊቲ ጋር በጣም በተገናኘ ሁኔታ አድቫንስ ያደረገ ነው። ኦፍ ኮርስ ስቲል ግን ምን አይነት ክፍተት አለብን? ለምሳሌ እዚህ ብቻ አይደለም ብዙ ቦታዎች ላይ የሚያስቸግረን ዳታው በትክክል ፊድ ላይ ይደረግ ይችላል ኢን ዘ ሶርስ ወይንም ደግሞ ሬጂስተር ሲደረግ ለምሳሌ ኢት ማይት ቢ ሲምፕል በጣም ሲምፕል ሊመስል ይችላል። ግን ፎርማችን ላይ አለ መንዝሊ ኢንካም የምትል ነገር አለች አይደል? ያችን ተጠቅሞ ግሩፕ ውስጥ ያስገባታል። ከዛ በኋላ ኢቭን ለአንቲ መኒ ላውንደሪ ከምናምን ጋር ተያይዞ እነኛ ግሩፖች ከነኛ ከሚገባው ገቢ በላይ በጣም ብዙ ሴቭ የሚያደርግ ከሆነ ከየት ነው ኢንካሙ ሶርሱ ብለን ትሬስም ልናደርግበት እንችላለን እና ስቲል ዳታ ኢንፑት ሲደረግ ኢት ማተርስ። የገባውን ዳታ ግን በተቻለ መጠን 100% ፒውር የሆነ ለምሳሌ ፎልስ ፖዚቲቪቲን እንቀንስ ስንል መቀነስ ነው እንጂ 100% አናጠፋውም እና ከዛ አኳያ አድቫንስ የሆነ ቫልዩ አድ የምናደርግበት ሶሉሽን ነው። አመሰግናለሁ። ሌላ ጥያቄ ካለ? አመሰግናለሁ በጣም
እንግዲህ ክቡራን ታዳሚዎቻችን ፕሮግራማችንን ወደ ማጠናቀቁ ደርሰናል። እዚህ ድረስ መጣችሁ በአይና በጄማር እንዲሁም በሌሎቹ ቬንደር ፓርትነሮቻችን የተዘጋጀውን የዲጂታል ባንኪንግ ሶሉሽን ላይ ስለተሳተፋችሁ በአይና ባዘጋጆቹ ስም ላመሰግናችሁ እፈልጋለሁ። አሁን የመጨረሻ ፕሮግራም የሚኖረን እርስ በርስ ኔትወርክ የምናደርግበት እርስ በርስ የምንተዋወቅበት የሻይ ቡና ሰዓታችን ነው። ወደ ሻይ ቡና ሰዓታችን እንሄዳለን። እናመሰግናለን።